At the beginning of the story, we see many animals working outside a castle for hours without rest, completely exhausted, and when one animal collapses, a guard cruelly forces it to stand and work again. Suddenly, a bright light appears. It is Alphaba, who arrives on her flying broom, attacks the guards, knocks them down, and frees the animals. Just then, she sees a group of soldiers coming toward her on flying brooms, so she escapes. But soon the whole city starts believing that Alphaba was behind the attack. Notices are placed everywhere warning people to stay away from Alphaba, saying no one knows when she will attack again. Even though the truth is that Alphaba loves animals, fights for their rights, lives far away, and wants everyone to know she is not evil but a good person. The lies spread by the Wizard of Oz about her are false, yet proving the truth is not easy, and Alphaba deeply misses Glinda. Meanwhile, Glinda is shown as the spokesperson of the Wizard of Oz and is now engaged to the prince. When the former dean of the magical university comes to meet her and starts talking about Alphaba, everyone is scared of her, so the dean gives Glinda a magical bubble and tells her to go inside it in front of everyone and say that there is no need to fear Alphaba. She also gives her a wand and asks her to wave it, so people believe she is controlling the bubble with magic. Glinda likes this idea and, sitting inside the bubble, goes to the people of Oz and first announces that the yellow brick road has been completed, the same road that was being built by animals who were being treated cruelly and whom Alphaba attacked the guards to save. Glinda then tells the people of Oz that they do not need to be afraid of Alphaba. The dean also announces that the prince is the captain of the army that will capture Alphaba, which makes everyone happy. Meanwhile, the wizard spreads false stories about Alphaba, calling her an evil witch with 3 eyes who shows no mercy. And when the prince hears these lies, he feels very upset because he knows they are not true, so he leaves the stage. The prince is a good person, and soon we see Alphaba above the clouds, arriving on her flying broom, where she begins to write a message in the sky for everyone to see. She writes a message saying that the wizard is lying, but the dean quickly turns Glinda's face away and, using her own magic, changes the message to "the people of Oz will die," which makes everyone's hatred for Alphaba grow even stronger. After this, the army of flying magical monkeys starts chasing Alphaba, and she escapes into her forests. The prince also follows her with his army, but at one point he suddenly stops and orders everyone to return because he has seen Alphaba hiding there and does not want to capture her, and Alphaba also realizes this. Meanwhile, all the animals of Oz begin leaving the land because they are tired of the cruelty of the flying monkeys, including the bear who always cared for Alphaba and was her caretaker. Alphaba appears before them and says that Oz is their home and they cannot leave it, but the bear replies that there is no reason to stay anymore. A cowardly lion also comes and blames Alphaba, saying that all this is happening because of her, and that if she had not given the monkeys the power to fly with her magic, they would not be able to oppress them now. No one listens to Alphaba anymore, so she goes to her half-sister, who has become the new governor of Munchkinland after their father's death, where she introduces a new rule that nothing can be done without her permission. She makes a new rule that no one is allowed to leave without her permission. In reality, she is in love with Bok, but Bok does not want to stay there, and because of this rule, he is forced to remain and work for her against his will. Alphaba comes to her sister and asks for help, but she refuses, saying that Alphaba ruined her reputation and never came to see her even after their father's death. She has always been unhappy because her legs do not work and she cannot walk, so she has been in a wheelchair since childhood, and the man she loves, Bok, does not love her back. Alphaba then reads a spell, and after casting it, she starts flying in the air, which makes her very happy. Bok also arrives there and tells Alphaba's sister that he read in the newspaper that Glinda and the prince are getting married, and that he is going to meet Glinda soon because he has always loved her but never had the courage to tell her, and now he wants to confess his feelings. Hearing this breaks her heart because she loves him deeply, and she says that his heart belongs only to her. She then takes the magical spell book and reads a spell to make Bok fall in love with her, but the spell goes wrong and affects his heart instead. She reads the wrong spell, causing Bok's heart to start shrinking, and he is about to die. So Alphaba tells her half-sister to leave the room and then reads another spell inside. After a short time, she comes out and says that everything is fine, and then leaves for Glinda's wedding, knowing that all the people of Oz will be there, and she wants to expose the wizard's truth in front of everyone. Later, Bok appears before her sister, now completely made of tin, which shocks her because Alphaba had to turn him into tin to save his life. Otherwise, he would have died, but Bok is is very disappointed with his new form. Meanwhile, as Glinda is preparing for her wedding, Alphaba arrives, and Glinda says she wants to personally introduce her to the wizard, but Alphaba refuses and goes straight to the wizard, who is in the upper tower working with his machines. Alphaba tells him to come downstairs and admit to the people of Oz that he has no real power and cannot even read the Grimoire, the book of magical spells that only Alphaba can read. But the wizard says no one will believe her, because everyone praises and trusts him. Glinda also asks Alphaba to join them, saying they can live together like a family. She says that if they go downstairs together, people will start believing her, and Alphaba agrees but puts forward her conditions. The cruelty against animals must stop. The animals who have already left must be allowed to return freely, and all the flying monkeys must be set free. The wizard agrees to these demands, which makes Glinda happy, and she says that it is her wedding day and goes downstairs. The wizard then gives Alphaba a key, and when she opens the door, she finds the flying monkeys inside, including Chistery, whom she already knows, and she tells them they are free, after which all the flying monkeys happily leave. However, Chistery returns and pushes another door, and when Alphaba enters, she sees thousands of animals imprisoned there, which fills her with anger because she loves animals deeply and realizes that the wizard has betrayed her. The wizard also arrives, and Alphaba calls him a terrible person, saying that when he asked her about her deepest wish, her wish was to fight him until her last breath. She then uses her magic to open all the cages and tells the animals to run, causing the wizard to flee as well, while the animals escape, and this chaos disrupts Glinda's wedding happening below just as the prince arrives with his army. The prince leaves the wedding and comes upstairs, where he sees that Alphaba has trapped the wizard using her magical broom, and although he points a gun at him at first, he instead takes the wizard at gunpoint and locks him inside a cage, which shocks Alphaba. Glinda also arrives and sees the prince aiming at the wizard, and when the prince says he will go with Alphaba, Glinda is stunned and believes the two are in a relationship, which deeply upsets her. Alphaba and the prince then leave together, and afterward the wizard says they must capture them, but without the flying monkeys it will be very difficult. Glinda, now wanting revenge, suggests spreading rumors everywhere that Alphaba's sister is in danger, knowing Alphaba will come to them on her own. Meanwhile, Alphaba takes the prince to her hideout, still unable to believe he chose her, as she has always liked him, and the prince admits that he loves her too. They fly into the air together and share their first kiss. At the same time, the dean is shown, knowing very well that Alphaba will not easily believe that her sister is truly in danger. The dean knows that Alphaba will never ignore a call for help, so she uses her magic to create a tornado heading toward Alphaba's half-sister, and Alphaba suddenly has a vision of a house falling on her sister, which deeply upsets her. She tells the prince that she must go to save her sister, and although he insists on coming with her, Alphaba says it is too dangerous, mourning her sister's death and believing it was just an accident. But Alphaba argues that storms do not come suddenly and claims it was an attack that killed her sister, accusing Glinda of giving away the magical shoes she had given her sister to a stranger, which makes Alphaba furious. Glinda, on the other hand, is angry that Alphaba took the prince away from her, and they begin to fight just as the wizard's guards arrive and capture Alphaba, revealing it was all a trap. Before they can take her away, the prince arrives with the flying monkeys, who are now on his side, and he holds Glinda at gunpoint, forcing the guards to release Alphaba. Alphaba then escapes on her flying broom, and the prince tells the flying monkeys to go with her and protect her. The flying monkeys leave with the girl, and if the prince had gone with them, they would have attacked and killed him from behind. Now the prince is captured, and Alphaba, from her hideout, casts a magical spell to protect him so that no matter how much he is tortured, he feels no pain and cannot die. But she soon realizes that she didn't cast the spell correctly and believes the prince is no longer alive. She reflects on how he always tried to do good and think of others, but was never rewarded, and in her anger and grief, she decides to truly become a very bad person. Meanwhile, everyone in Oz turns against her. Bach, now made of tin, tells everyone that Alphaba turned him into tin and that he has no heart. The cowardly lion blames her for his situation as well. Seeing all this, Glinda feels guilty and approaches the dean, asking who sent the tornado to Alphaba's sister's house. The dean admits it was her plan and adds that Glinda wanted fame and could not achieve it until Alphaba was defamed. Realizing how wrong she has been, Glinda decides to go to Alphaba. Meanwhile, Alphaba's flying monkeys bring the girl who received her sister's magical shoes. This girl also wants to defeat Alphaba. Glinda reaches Alphaba and tells her about the people in Oz who are against her, admitting that she had been wrong about her all along and that Alphaba is actually a good person. But Alphaba warns Glinda to never tell anyone this, saying she will handle things on her own. Alphaba tells Glinda that she wants to surrender and that as long as her evil reputation remains, people will still see Glinda as good. She gives Glinda her magical spellbook, saying that she must learn to use it because goodness can change a lot in the world, and what Alphaba couldn't do. Glinda can. Then she hides the book and the two share a final goodbye, tears in their eyes. At that moment, Glinda sees the girl outside, the one who had received Alphaba's sister's magical shoes, throw water on Alphaba, which melts her completely, seemingly killing her. After a while, when Glinda comes outside, she finds only Alphaba's hat and weeps over it. Then Chistery, Alphaba's loyal flying monkey friend, arrives with a bottle of green magical serum given by Alphaba's mother, the last gift from her. Alphaba had been heartbroken over the prince's supposed death, which is why she surrendered. Glinda takes the bottle to the wizard, and when he sees it, he realizes that Alphaba was his daughter. He had known her mother and danced with her, and the bottle was always kept as a memento. Realizing that his actions led to the death of his biological daughter, he cannot forgive himself and leaves Oz forever. By the end, Glinda becomes the new leader of Oz, with the flying monkeys as her allies. The Dean is punished for her past wrongdoings, captured by the flying monkeys. Glinda, following Alphaba's instructions, burns a huge statue of Alphaba in front of everyone to remove fear from people's hearts. A girl in the crowd asks if Alphaba was her friend, and Glinda confirms that she was. She then introduces a new rule in Oz. Humans and animals must live together peacefully, with no cruelty, which leads all the animals to return. Meanwhile, at Alphaba's hideout, a strangely appearing man knocks on the door, and Alphaba comes out, still alive. It turns out this was her plan, and the man is actually the prince, who survived, though Alphaba thought her spell had failed. He now appears as the Scarecrow, and everyone believes Alphaba is gone, just as she always wanted. Both Alphaba and the prince are finally happy together, and they leave Oz forever so that no one discovers the truth about them. With this, the story and the movie come to an end.